lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Gertewet, and this time I'm reviewing Rights of Use by Shannon Eichorn. This is the first book in the Project Black Book series, and it is a sci-fi adventure space opera book that features alien abductions by body-possessing aliens. Disclaimer on this review though, because I got the ebook for free for review purposes, and also I know the author and she's one of my friends, so that's pretty cool. And I'm obviously a little bit skewed in my review here because I actually know the author and think it's pretty exciting that she's got her first book out there. This book takes place on our Earth, basically. And in the 1960s, the government declassified information about UFOs, and that was Project Blue Book. That's like a real thing that actually happened. However, in this book, there was actually a top secret government agency called Project Black Book, and they actually have found UFOs and even have one in custody, and they know about aliens. Like, they know that there's this threat and that alien abductions have been happening, but they're not technically UFOs, unidentified flying objects, because they have been identified. So, you know, the government working on a technicality there and all that bureaucracy. There is this government agency that has been studying aliens and the threat that aliens pose for like several decades. But nobody knows about it, not even the Speaker of the House, until a rash of alien abductions happens in the middle of daylight, and one of the people that these aliens take is the Speaker of the House's daughter, Maggie. 20 or 30 women from all around the world have just been abducted at once, and some of them not from very secluded areas. We are following a few different storylines and finding out what different people know, and it's slowly getting revealed. So we have the Speaker of the House getting notified that his daughter's been abducted as he tries to figure out what's going on and finds out about this entire army base and everything that's been going on. We do get to find out what Project Black Book knows, more or less, although it's from the Speaker of the House's perspective, so they still might not be telling him everything. We also get to follow a couple of the girls that got abducted, one of them being Maggie Rockerfeller, the Speaker of the House's daughter, and another one being another teenage girl named Sarah Anderson. And Sarah is from this city in Pennsylvania, and she is basically, she's thinking about running away anyway, but like, she gets abducted, and then she's like, you know what, I was just kidding. I'm great. I'll go back to school. I'll do whatever you want. Just get me the heck out of here. This is not what I meant when I said I wanted to run away. Honestly, I think Sarah is probably my favorite character in this book, although Maggie's pretty awesome too. So we get to see the alien spaceship and everything that's happening with the aliens as these two teenage girls try to piece everything together and figure out what's going on. We also do get perspectives from a couple of the aliens and the humans that are hosting them. And there's really two different types of aliens. I think physically they're the same, but they have two different outlooks on how you interact with the host. So we have the evil aliens that are doing the alien abductions, and they're called the Kemtewets. It starts with a K, and it is K for kill, because I was getting confused which were good and bad, because the good aliens are the Gertewets, which start with a G, which is for good. Seriously, those names are so similar. It's just literally the first three letters are different, and I was getting so lost. So the evil aliens, when they take over a host, they just completely take over. They basically kill the mental, cognizant part of the host, so they can't think anymore, and they don't have control of their bodies anymore. So the alien just completely takes over. That's their body now. And they really just don't even think about who they're taking over. Like, these are just our clothes that we wear. Whereas the Gertewets, the good guys, they prefer having this symbiotic relationship where both the Gertewet, the alien, and the human, the host, are both kind of there mentally. And they're both kind of in control. Like, they can switch on and off who's actually controlling the physical stuff or who's actually talking. But it's basically like having two different brains in your head. But if a Gertewet takes over, then you are still mentally there. You can still think, you can still process. And the Gertewet and the host can have internal dialogues and talk to each other, which was kind of cool also. but it's also still sharing your body with an alien. And if your choice is between basically dying and your body continues on without you, or having an alien take over and you always having somebody else with you all the time, forever, who's going to know everything you're thinking, that's a little unnerving also. And that becomes the choice that Sarah and Maggie have to make, because the Kemtewets are abducting women so that they can implant their queen into one of these women, and the queen can produce more aliens. Because only special aliens, only the queens can reproduce. So it's pretty important that they get a viable host for it, and so they want younger women because their reproductive systems are better. So while Sarah and Maggie desperately want to escape, and they're really hoping that the Air Force comes and rescues them, that's really plan A. They're also contemplating the fact that plan B is that one of these two girls might need to take on either the Kemtewet host, the queen, who is just going to completely take over and spawn more evil aliens, or one of these Gertewets is actually on the rebellion side, an insurgent, and she is going to sneak in there and pretend to be the queen. At least that's the plan. So there is this ethical dilemma going on in this book around reproduction and whether or not, A, with the queen taking over, these girls being forced to carry aliens to term, which is kind of a terrifying thought, and it seems very much like rape. So FYI, if you're super sensitive to that. There's also concerns about like cultural appropriation in this book, because these aliens take over their hosts, but they also like to kind of assume their host's culture. So there are a lot of things on these alien spaceships and alien planets that come from Earth or other human-like cultures throughout the galaxy that they've just assimilated. So like even their language, they speak this combination that is like kind of English, kind of German, and kind of some other languages that are just kind of all thrown together, and like they find it as a novelty to like have these strange cultural things show up. There's lots of cool alien spacecrafts, and we get to see some of the alien planets. So if that's your thing, don't worry, there's plenty of alien tech and other worlds, and we definitely get to see a bunch of the aliens. There's also this rebellion thing going on with the Gertewets, kind of having this underground resistance to the Kemtewets. We also get to see a couple of the aliens and hosts that have been together for like a while, like several decades, and how their relationship looks several years on rather than like a new host and alien. So like there's definite differences between what those stages look like and how you kind of just get used to it and how they communicate with each other, which I thought was cool. So there's definitely plenty of really interesting things happening in this book. Really cool alien stuff. On the whole, I did enjoy this book. There is so much rich world building in it, though, and a lot of the alien words are kind of out there, and sometimes they switch to languages. Like the aliens are talking in German and stuff, and I'm like, I kind of know German, but I kind of don't. And it's usually only for a sentence or two, and then it's like translated sort of roughly as to what they were talking about, but that kind of felt a bit weird. So sometimes it's like, I think I know what's happening, but I don't really. So by the end of the book, I was really into the story and what was happening and caring about these characters and getting into their backstories and really just being like, ooh, alien stuff, which is really my favorite part about books about aliens. So it hit all those marks. Yay. It did take a while for me to kind of get all the world building straight in my head because there's so much of it. It's the first book in a series, and we're dealing with something completely not human and doesn't rely on like normal alien tropes. So it took a while to get used to how these body possessing aliens work, or how the alien culture works, or how the spaceship works. What's going on with Project Black Book. Really getting all that straight in my head. It really took me like half the book before I really settled into it. And also I had to ask for a character list because I was getting confused, especially with the alien names being so strange, like keeping them straight and which alien was bonded to which human. I gave it 3.5 stars, mainly because the first half of the book was so hard to get into. So much struggling. But by the end of the book, into section 2, I really got into who these characters were, really invested in it, really in awe of this world, and I am totally excited for book 2 and to see where we go next and what happens to these characters. The book is Rights of Use by Shannon Eichorn, and it is book number 1 in the Project Black Book series. Let me know if you guys have read this book and how awesome is it, or what other space, sci-fi, alien stories do you love? I love them a lot. I love alien stories, guys, so much. Yeah. So peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.